Good morning. It's Thursday, May 15th, so we're halfway through the month already. I'm reading in Genesis chapter 3 about Adam and Eve and their temptation of the serpent. And, there's so much here if you really study it and look at it, take your time, and you don't just read right through it. First of all, who was the serpent? Well, I believe the serpent was a tool for the devil. Just like lots of people who don't follow Christ, who don't really have any specific belief, they're very easily influenced and tricked by things like drugs and alcohol and all kinds of addictions, and they're easily swayed. And it can start with just one person saying, "Wow, this is really neat. You should try it," or something like that. So first, I think the serpent was a tool for Satan, who really hadn't come upon the scene yet. Adam and Eve really didn't know about Satan, I don't think. And they knew they weren't supposed to eat of the tree of the garden. That's all they knew. And in the midst of the garden. And so I think Satan used the serpent. I don't think the serpent was anybody special himself. That could have been just a dragon or something, a small lizard or something like that, or a big lizard. But he let himself be used by Satan. Satan came in, made his voice, help, talk to Eve through the serpent. And why would he do that? Because if you think about it, why would a serpent care what happens to the people in the garden? Wouldn't you think the serpent would want to have a good life too? So I think Satan came into the serpent and used him. And people can influence you if you're not careful. And, they can also influence you for good. But we have to know our own mind, and we have to know what we believe and who we believe in. And that's the first thing we need to really believe. And so, Eve ate the apple, and of course she gave it to Adam, and he ate the apple. And then God came along and said, he said, "What happened here?" And Adam said, "Well, the woman, that you gave me, God, she made me eat this apple." So he looks to the woman, and she says, "Oh, that serpent, he was the one that made me eat the apple." So I think that's the first time humanity learned how to blame others. Until then, nobody had to blame anybody, but all of a sudden something wrong is done, and pretty soon you look and everybody's blaming somebody else because they don't want to take account. They don't want to be accountable. And so, God, he punishes the serpent, which is apparently again, Satan's tool. He punishes the serpent by basically becoming a snake. You don't walk on the ground anymore. You're going to eat the dust, and he's going to put enmity between the woman and the snake or serpent. So as this unfolds, it becomes the woman, her seed is going to be Jesus Christ. Eventually down the line, Jesus Christ will come out of her seed. And Satan's, eventually out of his seed will come all the evil, the beast, and all the ones that are coming in Revelations, all the evil. And so if you think about it, it says, "He shall bruise your head," meaning Jesus Christ will bruise the snake's head. And the snake shall bruise the heel of Jesus. It says, "He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel." And, if you think about it, the head and the heel, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the heel is the lowest part of our body. And that's the only part Satan is going to get. and the head is going to strike the serpent, and that is Jesus Christ, and that is up. We look up, and that is the highest part we can go. So we will always have a conflict in us. We'll always be tempted. We'll always have little things that we can do wrong, or big things sometimes. And we'll also have the choice of good and evil. We will have the choice of God or Satan. We will have free will. God made sure of that. And that way we choose. So there's much more, but I don't want to take too much time. So thank you for reading. Have a great day, and God bless you.